through. Oh, but I ain't worried about the chorus, or even the second verse. As long as I'm breathing, I got nothing to lose. I'm looking 6 feet down, doing 27 over, and I don't quite give a damn. I was born with a lead foot and roughed up leather hands. Got a Bible in one and a bottle in the other, and a battle raging in my head. Yeah, I think about throwing it down, but I can sleep when I'm dead. There ain't no slowing down, 'cause baby, I was born to run. Life in the fast lane, I guess you could say. Watch yourself, I'm going out like a bullet from a gun. I'm burning up hard and bright before I leave this place. I'm looking 6 feet down, doing 27 over, and I don't quite give a damn. I was born with a lead foot and roughed up leather hands. Got a Bible in one and a bottle in the other, and a battle raging in my head. Yeah, I think about throwing it down, but I can sleep when I'm dead. Yeah, the bills pile up and the president gon' give a damn about you or me. The days come and go, well they already are not, so give me sweet release. Ain't just gonna lay down, play by the rules, and be just who they want me to be. But someone's gotta give if you really wanna live. All the best things in life I see. I'm looking 6 feet down, doing 27 over, and I don't quite give a damn. I was born with a lead foot and roughed up leather hands. Got a Bible in one and a bottle in the other, and a battle raging in my head. Yeah, I think about slowing it down, but I can sleep when I'm dead.
You love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
And this is episode 182, recording live on November 22nd, 2022. The Lions have won 3 straight games with their dominating performance on the road against the Giants. We'll talk about that, and then look ahead to the Thanksgiving matchup against the Bills and the rest of the schedule, really. We will chat about the scary win against Illinois for Michigan, preview the game with both teams 11-0, and the game. Sorry, lost my spot. This is not going well.
Did you
it's a
say
disaster?
Did you say the Lions won 3 straight?
Yeah.
Whoa!
You didn't know that?
No, I knew that.
Okay.
We just got to say it again. 5 years. First time in 5 years.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the disaster in East Lansing. That's where I was supposed to be going. This is probably really loud, isn't it? Is this so loud compared to me?
Yeah, it feels
We're
loud.
just going to keep on moving until it stops. Or should I stop it? Stop it?
There you go.
Good idea, Micah. You're so smart. You're so
I
smart.
can hear you now.
Yeah.
Did you say 3 straight? No, I'm
3
just
straight. The 3 straight. And the disaster in East Lansing pretty much erases the positive vibes that they had going with their three-game winning streak, I believe it was. Or maybe it was 2. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We'll make our picks against the spread in our Betting Hero segment, and of course, we will drink and review some Michigan craft beer. If you're joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, let us know what you're sipping on tonight and be part of the conversation of all of the sports topics we're going to be kicking around tonight. Before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors to help keep this thing rolling, even if they can't keep it rolling themselves. And free for our listeners, the Hobbs Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports, and bettinghero.com helps us and you get the best promotions available in the sports betting world. I shouldn't have said that.
No.
All right. That's
Probably
fine.
not.
I don't think they listen.
They don't.
I am Sam Walthart. With me today, we got Ryan Walthart
Hello.
and Micah Smith.
Yo,
Ready to talk some Michigan, right? That's kind of...
do it.
I thought we were going to talk about have Packers won 3 straight this year yet? Or no?
Actually, they did, didn't they? I think they did win 3 straight, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think game 2, 3, 4. No, they didn't. We can look at that. Look it
Yeah.
up. I want to know.
We'll look it up. I'll look it up because I don't think Micah will.
Right? Can you bump yourself
What?
back towards the middle a little bit? You're all completely off screen.
I'm off the screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get up on in
This is
here
what
now.
happens when John is not here.
Yep.
John, you're really screwing us over by not being here.
This is when you did your thing over there, I think, and you pulled the headphones.
Did I move
You
it?
moved it.
Oh, I can adjust it. No,
No,
good?
that's okay.
We're good. All right, we're
I
good.
don't know.
How you guys been?
Am I good?
Yeah, good enough. I think you look good. You feel good?
Yeah.
Look good, play good. Look good, feel good, play good. The pay is good. Isn't that what they say?
I don't know.
That's what hockey players say. Which is,
I don't know, but the last one's probably the most important one.
right. So how you been, Micah? Good week? 2 weeks? Were you
Yeah.
here last week? I can't even keep them straight anymore when you guys are here and when you're. I don't think you were.
No.
No.
I'm going to go with no.
No, but we went to the Michigan game together.
We did.
That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Yeah, you guys are bad luck, kind of.
We
Oh.
Almost bad luck.
We almost
Or maybe good luck.
Gosh.
we almost weren't able to go to a Michigan game again.
Maybe
Unless
good
it was
luck.
against like Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe they would have lost without you
That's a
guys.
great point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Maybe it took them a while to realize we were there.
I'm just here to help.
I like that. How you been, Ryan?
I've been pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been missing a couple episodes, but you were at the Hops last time we were there. Which
I was there,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's the last one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that turned into an all-nighter.
yeah. You were on the phone
Yeah.
at the Hops, like
Yep.
just pacing. I'm like, okay, Ryan, I
Yeah,
want to
you're
get
like,
out of
yeah, we
here.
got to get out of here. I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah, that. But no, it's been okay. It's been a really, really, really busy time at work. It has been for months, but it's all culminating right now,
Yeah.
and so it's going pretty well.
Then you got vacation starting.
and then I have
tomorrow?
vacation. I cannot wait.
So
Starting
after tomorrow.
After work tomorrow.
Nice, good for you.
Yeah.
You guys are going to Alabama.
Going to Alabama for over the weekend. So the day after Thanksgiving we're leaving, and then we'll be back pretty early next week, and I have the whole week off. So
Oh, nice.
I'll also have some time to get some of those projects that I've been putting off for a year. I'm hoping to get some of those done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, that'll be good. Let's get into what we're drinking tonight and just really get into the sports because that's really what we care about. We're drinking from Bell's Bell's Brewery, Two Hearted. It's a staple. What is it? This is like the best beer in the world, right? Doesn't this win like national awards constantly?
International?
International?
Like every year, don't I?
Every year, I think it wins like best beer.
It never stops.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever see those rankings, like fan rankings or the, I don't know, the judges, like both sides reach the same conclusion. It's a really good beer.
Yeah, everybody knows Two Hearted, especially in the state of Michigan. It's an American IPA, brewed and bottled in Bell's Brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Not Comstock Park. I think we've done this beer a few times, but it's always a good one to bring back. Can't go wrong with it. This is your favorite beer, isn't it? You're sitting there so quiet. Like, you know your mic is on, right?
No, I'm just listening.
So what do you know about this beer?
What do you want to listen about?
No, it's good beer. It's really good beer. This is one of my favorites.
It is. What is the percentage? Quiz time. Don't even look.
6.7.
7%.
Dang it.
I was gonna say 9-1. Double.
It's brewed with 100% Centennial hops. This Bell's American IPA is named after the majestic Two-Hearted River in Michigan, Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I had no idea about that. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't know that there was a
I
Two-Hearted
actually
River.
knew that just because for a while I was kind of looking at properties up there.
Okay.
I love the UP. I don't know why, but it'd be really cool to have land with a river in the future. And I saw a few properties that were actually for sale with that.
Right around
right around there.
the Two Hearted Rivers.
Yeah.
Are there actually like two rivers that kind of come together?
No, I think it's just Two Hearted. I don't know.
I'm curious about that.
It's just the Two Hearted River.
Gotcha.
Where the oceans meet.
Probably, right? Where you can do some mail watching.
Oh man! So glad that's recorded somewhere.
Yeah, that one. Somehow I lost that one. I
Oh,
don't
weird!
know.
That was
I don't know
accidentally
where it is.
deleted.
Kyle says he's never heard of Two Hearted. Is that a beer? Yeah, Kyle, it's a beer. Who's Kyle? How are the Yankees looking? They still looking strong?
Looking pretty good.
Kyle, let us know your thoughts on the World Cup. Who do you want to win? And
on Aaron Judge, is he coming back? No. Who's he going to?
Mets.
Giants?
Mets. I think he's going to the Mets.
Yeah. Definitely not going back.
Bursting with hop aromas ranging from pine to grapefruit and perfectly balanced with a malt backbone, this beer is well suited for adventures everywhere. I thought I was going to say adventurers, but it's just adventures everywhere.
Adventures or ventures?
Adventures everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what we're drinking tonight. Look it up. You'll find it everywhere you need to go. Before we jump into this full episode of 182, I want to remind everyone that the Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is currently closed. We're trying to get some stuff going on, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear something. That's basically
Have you heard
what
anything?
I keep saying.
Have you
No,
heard
I
anything?
have heard nothing.
Man, it's a shame.
Yeah, it really is. Kyle says Sam loves male watching. I also have enjoyed watching the World Cup. Have you guys watched any of the World Cup?
Nothing.
No?
I'm usually working.
Yeah. Well, I have it on my phone at my desk, so I can kind of watch it. And I'm betting on every single game, so that makes
Are you
it.
really?
Oh, yeah.
How you
I mean,
doing?
why not?
How you doing so far?
So I did terrible the first 2 days or
Yeah,
whatever.
because you bet on the U.S.
Yeah, I had Pulisic or something to score and win. Lost that bet, but today I did this one myself. I came up with 0-0 tie for the Mexico game, and then France -2.5 parlay, $5, 116.
Ooh, nice.
I was pumped.
Did you completely make up everything you've lost?
Oh yeah, I'm way up now. I mean,
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited about it. I might have spent a little bit on other stuff and lost that, but on the day I'm up. That's all that matters.
On Amazon, yeah, you tend to lose on Amazon.
We should look up our old reads for draft. Was it DraftKings that we did?
Yeah, DraftKings.
Because they talk about the phone number to call if you think you have a problem. I should probably look those up so I can get that phone number because I'm literally betting on everything.
Just got to do half speed because we talked really fast during that part.
Yeah, we did.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
Coming off their first road win in 2 years, the Detroit Lions did it again. They went into the 7-2 New York Giants stadium and kicked the crap out of them, 31-18, to win their third straight and go to 4-6 overall on the season. It wasn't pretty start by any means. They trailed 6-3 midway through the second quarter when Aiden Hutchinson got his second interception of the season in Giants territory, which set up a Jamal Williams' first of 3 touchdowns 4 plays later. The defense forced the Giants to punt with just over 2 minutes left, and Goff led the team at 78-yard, 8-play drive to score with 54 seconds left and took a 17-6 lead into halftime. The Lions controlled the second half with a TD in the third and the fourth quarter, and a late Giants touchdown made it a 2-possession game before the Lions took the remaining 4 minutes off the clock to finish in victory formation. Man, did that feel good. The way that honestly, I was watching that game, the beginning, I'm like, there's no shot we win this game. I know it was like really early and it was only 6-3 or something like that, but I just had such a bad feeling about it because it felt like they were moving the ball at will, and we couldn't do squat. And then all of a sudden, I thought that interception was such a game changer. When the offense wasn't going, wasn't getting back into scoring territory, wasn't finishing the deal, you know what I mean? And then that you're already in field goal range as soon as that interception was made, and they finished it. You know what I mean? And then they literally took that is what took a stranglehold on that game because Giants didn't really recover from that.
Fully changed the momentum. It was awesome. How funny was it watching Aiden Hutchinson try to return that?
Dude,
he's a better athlete than that. Why
thought he was.
No, he definitely is. So what was he doing? Why did he just run straight over to the sideline and then do some pirouette?
And he
Like,
was running
yeah.
football. Like, it was so funny.
You know,
Like
his-
caveman.
It really
Yeah.
did kind of look like that. I
you
mean,
know
he
his
kinda held
walk.
the ball,
He's
right?
got that like waddle type of
Yeah,
walk to
he
him.
does.
Like his hips move like in opposite directions as his shoulders or something. I don't know what it is, but like he was doing that just at full speed and run. I'm like, dude, you are faster than this. I watched your 40,
Yeah.
right? Like I saw you at the combine. You can do better.
Yeah, it was almost like he was
Like, what-
shocked in that
Yeah.
he had the ball.
Yeah, he's
or
like,
something.
as soon as he got the ball, he's running straight to the side. I'm like, don't fumble.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I guess
thought-
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought he could have cut up.
But, oh,
field a
that's
little
what I'm
bit more.
saying.
Yeah,
he could have tried to return
It
it.
looked like he had no vision.
He went
had no
straight
idea
out,
where that
straight out
where
of
the
bounds,
sideline was.
and then probably because like he just didn't know if he was running the right direction. Like he didn't want to Leon let or
Yeah,
something.
right. You probably have so much going on in your mind. And honestly, what a play that was. It
Oh,
was
it was
a really good play.
Great play.
He kind of just he was engaged with the blocker and then just jumped back. Dan Jones didn't see him at all.
Yeah.
It was a nice catch too.
Oh, great catch.
The fact that he was able to put his hands on that and like just knocking that ball down would have been like, dang, that's a good play. But catching it, returning it for what, 12 yards or something like that, maybe more. I don't know. It was,
Hilarious yards though.
it was
So it's
pretty
worth
fun.
it.
It's funny you said
No,
that.
but like he's 6'6", 6'7". So also just remember, like it doesn't matter how good of a defensive end you are. If you don't have the size that he has, he's also you're not impacting that play. So, I mean, great all around. I mean,
Yeah.
he had the size to do it, and he just, I don't know, like he was perfect. His hands were right there. He looked like a true receiver. You remember watching those clips back in the day when he was on Michigan and they were running, like the big guys were getting their opportunity and running routes and
no,
stuff?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so it was part of their conditioning where they'd go out there and they'd run routes.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking back to that. Like, I wonder how much of that impacted his confidence to go like pick the ball out rather than just knock
Yeah,
it down or
instead
tip,
of-
like to pick it.
Because he kind of like caught that like behind his head.
Oh, it was.
Like, it was.
he did it
wasn't
on
a
purpose.
terrible throw. It was just like it was. He just didn't see him.
He just didn't see
It was
him.
a great play.
He shouldn't have been there.
Kyle made the comment. I don't know if this is a question, but he said Hutch is rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. I disagree because of what Sauce Gardner's been doing. I think the NFL in general probably likes what he's doing a little bit more just because he's such a shutdown corner year one. I think he's kind of, unless he starts getting exposed, I think he'll get it. But Hutch is easily the number two and easily the best out of the three that mattered, with was it Trayvon Walker? Is that his first name?
Trayvon Walker.
And then Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
And it's not like they're having bad years, but Hutchinson is doing, like he's putting up good numbers now. It took a while, but man, I feel like ever since they changed, it feels like they almost challenged him more to be like, you're not just going to go get the quarterback like they were early on. It's not just about that you're going to be going this way, that way, and dropping in the coverage. Ever since that happened, I feel like he's become a much better player all around.
What is I'm drawing a blank on the name. Our defensive lineman, Kaminsky.
Kaminsky.
Okay. I this is my whole theory is that Kaminsky has helped Hutchinson because of his ability to, like, he's got pretty good athleticism on the inside, and they run a lot of stunts with him
The
too.
bottle opener.
Oh yeah. So early on in the year when Kaminsky was healthy, Hutch was putting up good numbers.
That's a good point. And then he
Kaminsky's
was
back,
out for like
and
3
now he's
games.
making a big difference
Yeah.
again. And I feel like that the people around Hutchinson make a big difference on what they, how much attention they actually give to him, because there were a few games there where Hutch was leading all of defensive linemen for double teams too.
Yeah.
Or he was up there. He was in the top 2 or 3 defensive linemen getting double teamed. And then we have listeners, or I heard on the radio a few times, like, people are getting mad about his lack of production. What is he supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
he's taking 2 people out of the play every single time. Like, that's production in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. I think he's been
Because Charles Harris hasn't been healthy either. Aquara hasn't been healthy. So that was a big deal when Kaminsky was out.
Yeah, we started this winning streak with Hutch and with other rookie on the other side. Second rounder.
Oh, Michael Brackers is the other one. Oh, the second round? Yeah.
Second rounder.
Yeah, but he's
Sorry.
hurt now.
Yeah.
I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
he's
right now.
hurt again.
Yeah.
But
Pascal.
yeah, Josh Pascal.
Yeah. Another one that I want to bring up while we're talking about the defensive side, Aleem McNeil. Incredible game.
Great game.
Incredible game. That was. Do you think what he did? I think there's a little bit of a sign of a bad offensive line that and a guard that he was going against. I know that's what I heard at least. Like
They pulled him. Yeah. They were down a guard. They were playing their backup all year, and then when the dude got healthy, then he just got beat over and over.
Yeah, but he had a great game. Do you think that he was kind of helping Hutch, or they were kind of helping each other? Like, how important is that? Instead of on the ends like Kaminsky was kind of doing, an interior guy helping or getting production because of it? Like, how do you see that?
I think the internal pressure is the most dangerous weapon a defensive line can have.
Yeah.
Just period. That's why Aaron Donald has been so effective where he's been. And if you can't contain the middle, then you can't sell out on the edges.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it frees those guys up to do what they need to do. So they secure the edge and then go get the quarterback.
For sure.
Yeah, so 100%. I mean, they are a unit together. So they have to be graded as a unit here and there. If people make outstanding individual plays like Aleem McNeil busting through the double team for the sack, or Hutch getting the interception, like you praise them for that, but overall for impact of the game, they're a full unit that you're grading.
For sure. I thought Goff had a clean game. He was 17 of 26 for 165 yards, no TDs, but also no sacks, no turnovers against a Giants team that's known for creating pressure, and they've forced some turnovers in a lot of their close games. I think that was a very well-managed game by him. Nothing to get too excited about by any means, but taking care of the football is the biggest deal. When he's turning the ball over, we lose. When he's not turning the ball over, we're in the games, and I'm obviously turning them into wins here. St. Brown, another incredible game. Only 76 yards, but 7 catches. So important to this team. Really the only wide receiver right now. I want to get into that here shortly. But the running backs combined for 150 rushing yards for a 4.83 yards per carry average. Justin Jackson, 66 yards on 9 carries for a 7.3 average. He also had 2 kick returns for 62 yards total. That's good production there. Jamal Williams, 64 yards on 17 carries for a 3.8 average and 3 more touchdowns, leading the league in touchdowns. Who saw that coming? DeAndre Swift, 20 yards on 5 carries for a 4-yard average, 1 touchdown. He also had 3 catches for 12 yards. The running back room as a whole, I keep going back to why isn't Swift getting production? Why is this happening? And I'm getting frustrated, but I don't think I should. I think they're using him right. I think the injury is still part of why he's not getting the Jamal Williams touches. Yeah. And when Jamal Williams is doing what he's doing, keep riding it, right? He's not the flashy guy or anything, but he's putting up really good numbers.
Why would you force Swift out there?
Exactly.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Especially because those reps are the physical reps that you're trying to just get the points, like bust through the line or something or make a decision.
Yeah.
That's if I agree with you. If Jamal Williams is working, then why change up the formula? And DeAndre Swift, you just are sparing his body at that point, saving him for later.
No, I think one thing with Swift is he needs those multiple touches to get those explosive plays. I think that's what we saw early on in the season where, he would break for a 66-yarder. Well, with the less and less touches, he's less likely to break for one. You know what I mean? I'm a little concerned about that. Are you concerned about the way they're using him? Like, let's get rid of the 1-2-3 running back thing. Just the fact that our second-round pick from a couple years ago, the guy that we see has the ability to be a game breaker, isn't getting a ton of touches? Or does you just completely think it's injury?
I 100% think it's injury.
Okay.
And if it's not the direct injury right now, then it's also planning for future reps, like limiting his touches just to keep him healthy for a little bit longer.
Okay.
I mean, if you look back at his injury history, even going back to Georgia, this has been a concern. It's always been a concern. We started the year off, and he was one of the fantasy leaders of his position, and he's having a breakout season. Well, the challenge was, can you do this for a full year, because he's never done that before. Still didn't do it. He got injured this year. I'm not blaming injuries on him. Like, the NFL is just a harsh business. Mm-hmm. Those guys get injured. He will get injured every single year.
Yeah.
So no, I don't mind it. The running back room is productive right now. I think it's directly associated to the offensive line play. And so as long as the offensive line is doing what they're doing and they're staying healthy, I don't care who's getting touches in the backfield, because they're the machine there. Mm-hmm. And when Swift is healthy, he will get his touches. We showed that early on in the year. He's going to get more than 5 carries if he's actually healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it at all.
Do you think there's a concern about? So there was one play that he didn't cut up the middle. He didn't cut up field and tried to run around the outside.
Man, I think he wide open
to do it. He obviously took the wrong route or the wrong lane, if you will. And then I keep going back to the Hard Knocks that whole thing with
Cut it
well,
upfield.
yeah. What's the running back coach's name? I can't remember his name right now.
Deuce.
Deuce Staley.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some kind of friction there, or is that just, or is that looking into it too much?
I haven't seen the friction. I haven't seen it
Yeah, you
on the
don't-
sideline.
Yeah.
All reports were that Deuce wants the best for him and wants to challenge him with all this. And Swift, like, he's not a very vocal guy, but when he did talk, he was saying, "No, that's what I am. I want to
Yeah.
be challenged. I want to prove people wrong. I want to be a bell cow
Yeah.
back." Which I get it if you're not getting the touches. But no, that's something that he's had to work on. It's always going to be something
Yeah.
that he's going to have to work on. It was Barry Sanders' downfall to a point. Like, if you constantly are trying to bounce for the big play, you're going to get caught in the backfield.
You're gonna get caught in the backfield or calls holding penalties
Yes,
and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. And so, no, I'm not worried about it because we've seen him make those hard cuts when he is healthy.
Yeah.
He's capable of it. He might need some reps, but that's
Yeah.
also human nature.
But then what about a week or two ago when he said that he was frustrated with the way he's being used? Like, does that change your mindset? Like, he thinks he's healthy. He thinks he can do it. They're not letting him. Is that just protecting him from himself or something along those lines? Like, I don't want to keep challenging. I'm really curious because I'm trying to fight that same feeling. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm starting to get a little worried just with all the stuff adding up and, the way that running backs can be. Like, they want to get their touches and get frustrated with the way they're used, and then I don't know.
Yeah, we also see that running backs are not a position that you invest a lot in. So he's coming up on his 5 year. I mean, he's in his 4th year at this point?
Yeah, I think or third year.
Third year?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's at the point where they're already considering what their long-term plans are, if they're going to extend him for a 5th-year rookie deal or if they're going to move on, where are they going to put their money? So he's probably thinking the same way. He wants to start putting numbers up so he can get paid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, running back is one of those where I think you invest if your team is fully ready for the next step. And if I don't know, if it's not that time yet to invest, and I don't want to invest him, and I think we can move away. And I don't think, as we see, we can still run the ball without him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like what the running back room is doing. I think a lot of it falls on the offensive line. But it's not a concern. The running back room is not a concern right now because I think he's getting healthy, and I think Jamal Williams is actually having a really darn good year.
Yeah, and if these guys all get healthy at the same time, then it's going to unlock something that is exciting for the team.
Yep.
So as long as they stay together, they're winning games, they're grinding stuff out. If they can get all of their weapons healthy at the same time, then they're going to be taken off.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. On the other side, the wide receiving room is kind of the opposite. Not very deep right now. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown having an incredible year. When this team's doing good, he's the one putting up the numbers. He had 7 catches for 76 yards. He's the go-to guy when they need it the most. But then you start looking at the rest of the guys. Khalif Raymond, only 3 catches. Brock Wright, the tight end, only 2 catches. Tom Kennedy, only 1. So what is that? 4 catches outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown for your wide receiving room. Chark was finally back healthy. Maybe
He was
didn't
not
get any
healthy.
catches. Josh Reynolds is still out. So, I mean, that's becoming an issue. But on the other hand, Jameson Williams is starting to practice. How quickly is this going to happen? Because I hear he's going to practice, and now the clock has started for, 2 weeks he has to be activated or something like that.
I think
For
it's
how
20,
that all works?
21 days.
Is it 21 days?
Something along those lines. Yeah, I
So-
don't actually know.
But then
the
I
rules.
hear that he's running in practice with pads on. It's like, okay, well, then why can't he play? Like, I feel like they're saying, all right, the clock has started, but we're not going to push it. But at the same time, if he's healthy enough to do this, get him out there and get him going. Where are you at with Jameson Williams? And is it a patience thing? Or when do you think he's going to start playing here?
Well, I think one is what are you benefiting from getting him back? He could extend the offense. I mean, he can blow the doors off the top. Like there's a lot of benefits right now. But 3 weeks ago we were 1-6,
Yeah.
so they're definitely playing the slow game, the long game there.
Mhm.
Do we think this team is set up for a long playoff run?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm not to that
and
point
do you
yet.
think Brad Holmes thinks so? So are they willing to risk the long-term health of their rookie prized pick that they traded up for in the first round to select, that they think is a difference maker, obviously, because they had him number 1 on their wide receiver board.
Yep.
So in my mind, if there's risk for making something worse, for re-injury, and in this case with an ACL, 100%. I mean, these are the non-contact type of injuries that can slow or completely start over a recovery process.
Okay.
So they are not going to take any chances. He's probably healthy enough right now. He's probably been healthy enough for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they are just taking every precaution to make sure this has all the time it needs to heal 100% without a doubt.
It's just as much a mental thing than a physical thing at this point. Like, you got to make sure that he's going to go in fully trusting his knees and not trying to do something different because
compensate and
hurt
risk your
the other
hip or
one.
your other knee. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on. I'm not gonna.
I think this is a long-term investment. He's the investment that they do not want to ruin by rushing him back in a season where you're not trying to contend for a Super Bowl right now.
I agree completely, but I also want to know a little bit more because I want to know if Goff and him have a connection. Because, yeah, we don't need to know if Jameson Williams is going to be legit this year, but I want to know if Goff can throw to that type of wide receiver. He never has. At least.
Why do you have long-term plans for Goff?
I'm curious if we
I don't.
if we should keep him for the remaining 2 years of the contract and not have to draft a quarterback. I'm
You're
trust
all
me.
over
I
it.
have all of these things have crossed my mind. I don't know what to do, but I want to know if there's a connection there. I really do, and I don't think he can rehurt it just because of he's almost a calendar year in now, right? Because it was the end of the college football playoff, which week 2 of January, I think, week 1.
January, yeah.
January 8 or something like that, maybe. So I mean,
10 months in from his surgery.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah.
ACL.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't know. It's different now, though. I feel like he can play. And I just look at the wide receiving room and how bad it is right now outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm like, just adding another true NFL wide receiver could make a big difference. Do I think he's going to make the difference of making the playoffs or not? No, I really don't. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs because I think the tough start has put us in this hole that is just too daunting to get out of, personally. But I want to know. I want to see it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have those thoughts and, all of a sudden we lose, let's say, to the Jags, and then all of a sudden he comes back and we look like a completely different team. We could have beat the Jags, you know what I mean, with him. It's just I don't want to lose another game because of our wide receiving core. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I understand we're not going to we can't think here this small. It's a much bigger process. I know all of those things.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, think about the players that go through, that we give passes to on a regular basis for week 1 and week 2 because they didn't get their preseason workload, especially at these types of positions.
Yeah.
And then we would expect them to come back and be an impact player. I would fully expect when he does make his appearance that he's going to be a gadget player for a few weeks. He might do an end around. He might try to just run straight down the field and see how many defenders he can take with him.
Yeah.
And just let him get on the field, but don't run the slants over the middle. Don't
get hit.
Stay away from the triple move routes where you could do something where you're just re-injuring for no reason.
Yeah.
Soft tissue stuff.
Going back to the defense side, we talked a little bit about, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson and a little bit about McNeil, but Deshaun Elliott, what do you? I feel like he is such a difference maker on this team. When
he's a stud.
When he's playing, he looks like the man on the field.
Yeah, he's the biggest dude out there.
He hits
and
hard, and I feel like that's the type of player that other teams keep an eye on. They do not want to get hit by that guy. Love what he's doing. He doesn't have. I mean, he did have 8 tackles. I think he actually led the team with 8 tackles. But just seeing him on the field is just a night and day difference compared to, I think, really the Lions' defense as a whole. We already talked about McNeil, but I mean, just a game wrecker. He had 3 run stops, 7 quarterback pressures from that interior defensive line. That is something that we have never had outside of Ndamukong Suh, I would say. So that's a nice sign, I guess. Huge part of holding Saquon Barkley, the NFL's leading rusher, to 22 yards on 15 carries. I mean, Jones had 50 yards of the Giants' 89 rushing yards, but holding Saquon Barkley to 22 rushing yards,
huge.
It was exactly the medicine to win this game, and they absolutely did it. Daniel Jones had a pretty good game, 27 of 44 for 341 yards and a touchdown. But they forced him to throw 2 interceptions, which doubled his season total. for the season. Like, that's just crazy.
Both
he was
rookies,
at 2
right?
heading in, went to 4. Yeah. Kirby Joseph and Aiden Hutchinson with the interceptions. Aiden Hutchinson also had a fumble recovery, which is awesome, dude. He's around the ball.
Yeah.
And I love that. Kirby Joseph had his 3rd interception since becoming a starter in week 4. Defense seems to be figuring something out. Do I think it's a long-term solution by any means? No, but it's nice to see them building.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, even guys like Will Harris has been rounding into form. Like he's the one who forced the fumble, and he's found his role within this team. He's a bigger cornerback that used to be safety, obviously. Was kind of a brutal safety, but he's found his spot in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And probably some of that has to do with his time playing at safety, and then he went to the outside and tried to hand a cornerback, and he actually improved. And now it seems like they're using him as a little bit of a gadget on that defense.
Yeah.
And they're mixing him in with some of the other guys like
Armani Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior's going back in there, and they're using him more in the slot though. And which is good because some of those slot wide receivers are big physical guys that
It's
you need to
changed a
body
little
up
bit,
against.
yeah.
It has, yeah. So you have to get the mixture between the Amon-Ra St. Browns, but then you're also seeing like the Justin Jeffersons where he plays in the slot the majority of the time, and he's not only living on the outside.
Nope.
So their defense feels versatile right now. It feels like they can flex to whatever type of defense or offense they're playing. They can throw a lot of speed on the field with their middle linebackers, with Malcolm Rodriguez. Derek Barnes, he plays downhill, but when they need to cover with speed, they have Alex Anzalone and Rodriguez to jump in there.
Yep, I agree. I think it's fun to see, and I think Derek Barnes he's starting to get his. Derek Barnes starting to figure something out. Is he an every down linebacker? Not yet.
Maybe not.
But he's making plays on special teams constantly.
Yep.
And then whenever there's a big hit, like from a linebacker position, it seems like it's him right now with Malcolm Rodriguez's injury. He's been quiet the last couple weeks. I know
he's
he was
playing
out
more
last
sidelines.
week, but yeah, they're protecting something with that. I don't know what it is exactly, but starting to put something together. I think linebacking position is still a massive need. But it's nice. It's nice to see them kind of just figure something out. It seems like they trust each other, and it seems like they're working as a full unit from top to bottom.
Agreed.
So, really exciting, and they'll probably get 700 points or yards on them this week.
They probably will.
But
yeah, they're
let's
playing the
talk
Bills.
positive when we can. A couple things that stood out to me. The stats kind of really didn't tell you a whole lot. Usually, I like to go through those. I thought their third down efficiency 6 of 13. And then the Giants were 5 of 13. But Lions, no fourth downs. Again, I think that's 2 games in a row that they didn't go for it on fourth down. The Giants went 2 for 3 on fourth. But there was that moment, that very first drive where the Lions were moving the ball really well. And it stalled out, I want to say inside the 7-yard line or somewhere around there. And it was like 4th and 1. It's like, all right, here we go. But Dan Campbell didn't do it.
Yeah.
He took the points, and I don't know what's changed, but ever since when he makes those decisions, the
Conservative.
I don't know, there was another word I was going to go, but that's a good word for it. Those decisions, it seems to be working, and he's getting rewarded for being patient, going by the book, if you will, instead of taking risks left and right. And I'm interested to see if this is him learning or if it's just him listening, you know what I mean, of people talk about it. I'd like to think that he doesn't care what other people think, but it seems like he took a lot of heat a few games ago when he went, I think it was the Patriots game, where he made some really weird fourth down calls. Ever since then, he's kind of changed that. What do you think about what he's been doing from a, I don't want to say play calling, but a game management standpoint?
I'm going to go back to our conversation a couple weeks ago on this, and at the time, they had nothing to lose. You're trying to express that you have confidence and belief in your team, and they were not winning at that time, but they were 1-6. What do you have to lose? You might as well mix it up and try different things and see how your team responds to it. And I think what's interesting is now that they've been winning, I see it as more of a response to the team's attitude about some of those plays.
Mm-hmm.
And what we heard on the broadcast is that he made a comment saying that it's deflating to a team that works their way down the field, picks up like critical third or fourth downs along the way, and then you get all the way down there, miss out on a fourth down, and have 0 points to come away with it.
Yeah.
And that can be demoralizing for a team and kind of maybe bring down the mood a little bit too much. And so I think he's possibly just responding to what's happened in the past. Like it's happened one too many times where he said, this doesn't feel worth it at this point in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
I think he's going to be aggressive when he needs to.
And he might believe in his team a little bit more because they've been winning.
Yeah. I don't know if it goes hand in hand, but it's also right around the same time that Sheila Ford came out and said, these guys, we believe in them. Their jobs are safe. You know, remember that press conference? And I was just like, all right. I mean, is that fair in the moment? Probably not. But what I think that did is it allowed him to stop worrying about, all right, we have to win. And wins will actually make you be less aggressive because you already have 4 wins now, which is one more than last year, right?
Yeah.
So it's
and they won their last game last year.
Yeah. So it's like you have that like relief where he's like, all right, we're just gonna play real football and not go overboard one way or the other. But the way you kind of described that, like going down the field, getting there, and then getting nothing, is pretty demoralizing, and you're avoiding a low to get even lower, and you're like letting you're not letting your highs get too high, and you're not letting your lows get too low, and you're just kind of playing that middle ground perfectly.
You need to read the room. Like sometimes going for it on fourth down means you trust your team. Sometimes going for it on fourth down means you don't trust your team.
Yeah, the other side, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
because it's really 2 teams that make one.
Yeah, and that early on, like this was a successful drive. It was the first drive of the game, I think it was, and it was successful. It went all the way down. They stalled out. It happens, but you take your points, right? And now you're starting to play that game of like 1 possession, 2 possession. Starts very early on in the game. It can make a big impact later on.
Yep. On a negative side, they lost Akuda mid-game. They survived the rest of the game without him.
That was rough though.
Yeah.
They collided. It was him and Derek Barnes.
Yeah, it was Derek Barnes. I think that got him. But I hate this new rule. Just because it's a short week, he can't even try. They won't even let him attempt to get out of protocol. He was in the locker room. Everybody saw the celebration in the locker room. He's jumping around, having a grand old time. He's not hurt. You know what I mean? And that's the frustrating thing about this is he should be able to play. It's a crucial game, especially at that position. You got to have somebody that can at least be an NFL corner. I'm not sure we have any true NFL corners outside of him right now. At least that we've seen this year.
You don't think Jerry Jacobs?
I like what he's doing, but and this is probably unfair of me to be like, well, he still was an undrafted free agent that exploded on the scene last year, right?
Yeah.
Like that, I still have that in my mind.
Yeah, you got to
and
forget
he's
about
eventually going to get exposed. I keep thinking that. He's having a great, ever since getting back from the injury.
He's awfully handsy, isn't he?
He is. Oh, yeah.
Okuda could learn a thing or two from him.
About that side of it?
Because like he's crafty with where he like tugs.
Yeah, he should have got a pass interference on Sunday, but he got away with one.
His first initial contact is always a grab.
Yeah.
So he like keeps up with the momentum wherever the guy's going. And Okuda, I feel like never does that. So he can get beat on some of those over the middle here and there. That's like what I remember him as a rookie. It's just like, man, again, like why don't you grab every once in a while, because they don't call every single thing, right?
Yeah. No, I agree completely. So without Akuda, obviously it's the Bills. We're sky high 3-0 or 3 straight wins. I think this is a tough game to say, oh, this is how we're going to win. We're going to do it this way. I think the Bills are vulnerable. They've shown it the last couple of weeks. It's not like they're the killer that we all expected. But then you look at this matchup and you're like, dude, it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, they can be a killer.
They can be still. Yeah, exactly. And they're looking for a get-right game to get back to that killer instinct, if you will. I don't have high hopes for it. I hope it's a good football game. I would obviously be really excited if they win. I'm not going to expect it at this point. But go out and compete. That's kind of where I'm at for this game. Would love to see Swift get a little more action. I would love to see a couple guys step up and get more catches, if you will. Maybe Chart can finally do something this year. He's been so frustrating. But outside of that, I'm just like, all right, three wins in a row. We'll take that as it is. I'm not going to let a loss on Thanksgiving, whether it's by
one of the best
10,
teams,
whether it's by 3 points or 50 points. I'm just going to look at it and be like, it's a loss. They put themselves in a spot that it's okay right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because if you lost those last 3 games and you go get your butt whooped on Thanksgiving, then you start looking for, all right, who is Dan Campbell the right thing? And that's one thing that I'm really excited about this win streak is I feel like we can kind of get rid of that stigma. Whether it was there or not, it felt like it was a possibility that they would move on from him. But now you're like, nope, he's done enough to at least keep his job. And I hope that it doesn't snowball or any of that stuff. Obviously, things could get really ugly, but it feels good right now.
They're feeling good. They're feeling good about themselves. It's a short week, so weird things can happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The Bills could make a couple of early plays, and really the game could be over because they could just suck the wind out of the Lions. The whole place, Ford Field, whatever.
Sorry.
Go
Carrie
ahead,
says you
please
got a lot of
interrupt.
Michigan to get to, like TikTok. I think she sees Micah sitting there with his mic off, and she's like, all right, let's get this going to
I'm
Michigan.
game,
right?
but the Lions did just win
Lions?
3 straight.
Yeah, this is a Michigan sports podcast.
And the Packers are bad. So
But
come on.
you do the look ahead. You got Bills, Jacksonville, Vikings, Jets, Jags, Bears, and Packers. You just look at this, and I'm going to do it. You see one game that's like, it doesn't feel winnable. The rest of them are winnable. Will they win all of them? No. But it's a possibility that they keep this thing going because the way they're doing it should continue. So we don't need to get into the playoff hunt, especially with Carrie, getting impatient over here. Wants to talk some Michigan, which I'm okay with that.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. This is State of My Sports.
Michigan stays unbeaten with their first fourth quarter come-from-behind win, outscoring Illinois 9-0 in the fourth to win 19-17 on a 35-yard field goal with 13 seconds left by Jake Moody. The first drive of the game, like usual, made it look easy. They went down, got a touchdown. Illinois then outscored Michigan 17-3 in the middle quarters when trailing 17-13 and 3 minutes and 19 seconds left. Harbaugh elected to kick a 33-yard field goal on fourth down to give the ball back for Illinois with a chance to ice the game, but the defense did their job, got the ball back for the offense, and with JJ's first chance to get a game led. Shoot, this is why I gotta have a reader, like someone to read this stuff for me. A chance to go
Just summarize it.
win a game.
You're our best reader, though.
He led the offense from their own 48 to Illinois' 17-yard line to make the game-winning kick easier. Was it pretty? No. But he picked up a key fourth down to Gash, created the 15-yard pass interference call, and managed his way down the field for a comfortable game-winning field goal. Look, I'm not going to lie. We were at the game.
Comfortable?
And what did I say when they kicked the field goal instead of went for it on fourth down with 3
We're
left?
not getting the ball back.
We're not getting
the ball back.
We're not getting
We're not getting the ball back.
We're not
I'm
getting
like-
the ball back. I said, I guarantee we're not getting the ball back. And I was wrong, and I'm so happy.
I looked at him. I said, "Okay," and that's. I didn't want to agree with you. I didn't want to really disagree with you. We're both in a bad place at this point. Our wives are next to us, and I'm like, maybe he's right, but I'm like, damn it, I hope he's wrong.
He wanted to grab me by the neck and shake me at the same time. Right?
Well, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, the defense can get us the ball back.
I think the crazy part was I think they still had 2 timeouts after they got the ball back too, because I don't think they drained their timeouts because there was like a pass interference or a holding penalty that stopped the clock once.
I
and there was
thought they
something else.
used 2 of them.
Did they? I thought they got him out of bounds once or something. Maybe I don't know.
They used
Did
the
they
time.
use Yeah, I guess they did use all 3 because
I think it was all 3.
yeah, I was playing that game of like what they were gonna do
Because the penalty, and after they stopped him on the 3rd and 18,
yeah.
then they
The
called the
clock
time the
ran.
third
The third.
final timeout going into 4th down.
Yep, you're right. Blake Corum, 18 carries for 108 yards and a touchdown, but the injury to Corum combined with Donovan Edwards out
Yeah, rough.
made it really hard for this offense. That was very, very concerning. And like obviously the injury is the scary part. What he was doing was he was getting ready to put up 200 yards on the ground. Because it was in the second quarter. Obviously, he fumbled the ball, and that kind of was a big deal. But do we just want to get into the Corum injury right now?
I think Corum is like where the discussion with Ohio State starts and ends right now.
So let's.
So much hinges on the health of Corum.
Well,
and I'm not even saying whether he plays or not, like the true health.
Yeah, let's get through this game real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot on the game, and then we'll go to the Ohio State game if that's cool. You guys good with that?
Yeah,
All right.
lead the way.
Do you?
J.J. McCarthy, 18 of 34 for 208 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Stokes, 11 carries for 36 yards. J.J., 7 carries for 18 yards. Gash, 3 carries for 6 yards. Really, I mean, it was, you go through all of these numbers, it was such an even game. Outside of time of possession, Michigan absolutely dominated, which I just don't understand what in the world happened in this game. It was shocking. It really was. What?
Really?
What?
So, why don't we just break down the time of possession really quickly here? It's
All right.
not going to take long.
Yeah, what?
It was a mixture of a run and pass game, and how many dropped passes?
A lot of drop passes.
And
crucial
there it
moments,
is. And there it is.
Gash.
Gash dropped that one.
It-
Look,
Oh, yeah.
look,
Crucial.
I think JJ deserves some blame. I do. I think he makes
He made some
makes-
errant throws.
he makes throws harder than they need to be at times. I think he needs to put a little more air under it. He needs to have a little more touch. I think that's something that you learn as you get a little older. He's still only 19 years old.
You
Something
only
like that.
you only
So-
get those when people are dropping balls, though. You only get that kind of criticism when they're
That's true.
dropped.
But he
Staff-
has missed throws.
Yeah,
He's missing throws.
yeah.
But I think the wide receivers and running backs are letting him down completely. I mean, the deep pass that was offside. So the offside
was
the one
clearly
fourth down that they
offside.
missed, it was clearly offsides. That they should have been a shorter distance. I don't think it would have got a first down, but it was clearly offsides. And then he threw an absolute dime to, was that Cornelius Johnson?
No, Andrew Anthony.
Andrew Anthony.
Yeah.
I mean, to
It
the
was
1 yard line, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah. It was like a perfectly thrown ball, like not too far, like not too short. It was like literally, if you threw it any farther, it was an interception. If you threw it shorter, it was an interception because he had each guy sandwiching the wide receiver, and I think it hit him in the face mask, didn't it?
No, it was right on his hands, right here.
And I think it hit him in the mat, like it went through his hands and hit him in the face. Like this is that. I said it very, very early on in the season. I am concerned about a wide receiver we can trust. I think Ronnie Bell is someone you can trust. He's still dropping the ball at times too. I think you can trust him, but he's not breaking games open the way that you want. We don't have that go-to wide receiver right now, and that's
No, we
scary.
don't.
That is really, really scary to me.
I think Roman Wilson is the closest we have to that.
Yep.
I think Ronnie Bell can be reliable. He hasn't been yet. I don't know. I still trust him. I still trust Ronnie Bell.
I do too. Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge factor in the next. This
I do.
upcoming game.
I think so too.
I think Ronnie Bell's the most trustworthy. I think Roman Wilson is the more dangerous
100%.
wide receiver.
Roman Wilson can be the game changer that we've been looking for from the wide
Yeah.
receiver position.
And did you watch the game?
I actually listened to it and then I watched the highlights later.
Yeah.
I didn't see AJ Henning out there one time.
Oh, he was injured.
He was
Henning
injured.
is hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Henning wasn't not able to play in the game actually,
Okay.
and that was one of the things that, the reason why C.J. Stokes and Isaiah Gash and Dunlap and all they were actually considering using Henning in the running back role in that gadget type of filler role if anything happened to Blake Corum, and he was not available
Interesting.
So-
Because with Edwards out, you
with
need,
Edwards
yeah.
out too.
But the fact that we played, nearly 2.5 quarters without Blake Corum, without Donovan Edwards, and still got the job done.
Look, hats off. I mean, every team goes through one of those games, I feel like, every year. This was our first one. We went through 3 or 4 of these games last year, I feel like.
Nebraska,
Nebraska,
Rutgers,
Penn State.
Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, there were multiple games that it was like, we survived. And it's like, this was our first time. And against a team that had everything to play for and nothing to lose.
And they lost
everything
against
to lose
Michigan
at the same
State.
time.
And a top 5 run defense.
I was gonna bring this up because Illinois has a legitimate defense. I consider
Yep.
Illinois the matchup offense to defense is harder against Illinois. It's actually a worse position for Michigan against Illinois than it will be against Ohio State.
Okay. I think that's fair. I really do. Because
That's my take on
they
it.
are a very good defense.
And they're very structured. And I think Illinois' strengths actually hurt Michigan's game plan more than Ohio State's strengths.
In a lot of ways, Illinois is a poor man's Michigan. They're trying to build the way
Yeah.
Michigan is built.
Yeah,
100%.
really.
They're trying to
Yes.
build the way Wisconsin has been built in many years. I think Michigan's built a little bit better than Wisconsin, a little more that they can throw the ball a little bit more and have a true
Yeah, I mean,
good
the record
quarterback,
shows,
if you will.
But a game of trenches, very similar.
Trenches. Yep, exactly. In Illinois, watch out because he's going to have that team continuing to go.
Yeah.
I think that could be a problem.
Well, in Ohio State, they can be good in the trenches, but the real question with Michigan-Ohio State matchup is, can Michigan hang with the athleticism of an Ohio State?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they were talking about with Illinois. Illinois has the star running back,
Yep.
and they win in the trenches.
Yep.
So that it was not a challenging. It was not a rollover game. And then when you go into all of the injuries and the impact that Michigan was playing through at this point, like no wonder they had their hands full because this was not a gimme type of game.
I agree. And I think at this point you turn the page from it. You survived it. You got the win.
Yeah, I say that
Hats
after
off
the
to them.
fact. Like I didn't think this was going to be a challenging game. I actually watched the first drive, and then at that point I said, okay, because Jillian had plans for the day,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to watch the game. But I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I feel safe. I feel safe
Yeah,
now. I saw the beginning. We're all set. They 3 and out, touchdown, all set. We're good.
It was exactly the way you would write it up.
Yeah.
It was.
And I didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah.
And then
And
I
all of a
listened
sudden
to
it was
more
just-
and more, and I'm just like, this is driving me crazy.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it was. It felt the same way in the stadium. We were there. We watched that first touchdown. We're like, come on, this is going to be an easy game. We stopped them. They got the ball first. We still went down and scored first. Like it felt. Or no, did we get the ball first? I guess it doesn't matter.
We did get the ball first.
Michigan scored immediately.
Immediately.
And then
Then there was a
caused
3
the
and
3
out.
and out.
Yeah, and it was drawn up perfectly, and it just went downhill from there. But hey, you don't complain about victories.
Well,
I've
and-
said just win, baby, for a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
Last point I think I want to make, and you touched on it, but J.J. McCarthy there are so many times in this game where Michigan was one play away from losing the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they needed
That's a
to
great point.
make the play to win.
It's a very good point.
And there's a big difference of like in a tie game scenario where
Yeah.
you didn't make the play, but you still live on. Over and over and over, Michigan was down to a critical third down play, critical fourth down play, and JJ made the plays when he needed it the most.
Dude, the tenacity by the entire team and just the will to go down the field. It was just like, you're not stopping us. We're going to march down the field and get where we need to be. And they did it.
It was
Backs
impressive.
up against the wall for the first time.
No, I agree.
I think it was the perfect
was a
test
good
and
test.
challenge for the team that they needed to get out of the way before going into a critical game.
Absolutely.
I'm more concerned about JJ's ground decisions than him throwing the football, to be honest with you. Heading into this game against Ohio State, it's like I want to see him making the right reads. I want to see him running at the right time. Like all of those things, like that is right there is more concerning to me because I don't think he's going to throw an interception. I think he is one of the safest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Honestly, he always throws it to where our player might get it, nobody else will. I feel like that's what he does every single time. Yeah, he's had a couple interceptions. I get all of that. And then he could throw one on Saturday, but like I'm not worried about it. And that was the biggest worry heading into the season. Is he going to take care of the football? He's definitely taking care of the football when he's throwing it. I'm more concerned about when he's running it and taking those big hits and making the right decision when to run, when not to. That's a big concern for the game to me. You guys ready to get in the game?
Yeah, let's do it.
He's way more Cade McNamara than we thought.
He is, but I think that might be
Oh,
just
that's
the
coaching.
hardball, hardball factor.
And maybe let him loose next year.
Yeah. Last year, Michigan stunned Ohio State and the rest of the college football world by finally beating the Buckeyes. Michigan won 42-27 at home, giving Harbaugh his first win as head coach over the arch rivals, Ohio State.
Just call them Ohio.
Ohio.
They don't
No, I
deserve
don't-
that respect.
I'm Ohio State guy. Like, oh no, that did not come out right. That did not
And
come out
that
right.
is on recording.
No, Trav is a
Whoa.
Ohio guy. I'm like, no, it's Ohio State. They're Ohio State.
No, you said it. You're an Ohio State
I'm
guy.
not an Ohio State guy.
You heard it here first. Hey, what color are your shorts?
Nobody can. What color is your shirt?
Yeah, but I never said I'm an Ohio State guy.
That's a great point. They ended the 8-game losing streak in the series. On Saturday, the game will feature 2 undefeated teams for the first time since 2006. Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, and if Corum can play, 2 true Heisman hopefuls looking to put their statement game up. Stroud and Corum. That could be a big, big thing here. Early weather forecasts are predicting a 60% chance of rain with a temperature in the mid-40s. The colder the weather, the better for
Ooh.
Michigan, I feel like, right?
100%.
Every Buckeye fan currently checking the weather.
Yeah,
app.
they're like, all right, we got to
Oh my
change
gosh,
this.
is it really happening
Who
again?
do we got to call in the government to change this weather?
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to start with
Call
Corum.
Pelosi.
Yeah, Corum and Edwards here. I mean, last year Haskins, the game he had 28 carries for 169s, and averaged 6 yards a carry with 5 touchdowns. This year's running back room, I feel like, is better. I feel like when healthy, Corum, Edwards is better. The offensive line is better. I feel like we could do that. Now, I also think Ohio State is more physical. They are better than they were last year, and those same things. But like, I think it's all. If you want to know the path to victory, watch last year's game. Basically, is what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's obvious what's going to happen. It's obvious that, all right, are they going to be able to stop the pass or the passing game for Ohio State, and is Michigan going to be able to run the ball? We're not going to tell you anything that nobody else has already said. I get all of those things, but with the Corum injury, and Edwards is a massive, massive piece to this because I think he hurt his hand, right? Because I think they said
Broke his
last he
hand.
said it is broken. I mean,
That's what I heard, yeah.
yeah, that's a scary part for it because he's also the threat through the air that I think this team needs to kind of keep that thing going. When you don't have wide receivers you can trust to catch the ball, Edwards is probably our best wide receiver.
Well, and JJ's got the best rapport with him compared to any of the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like every time he's throwing to Edwards, you know something good's about to happen.
Yeah.
That's true.
But you said Ohio State's a better team than last year, specifically the defense.
You know,
Because I'd
I
still
think
look at
I'm
last
supposed
year's.
to say that. I think I'm supposed to think that. You know what I mean? Like that's what they've said. They're more physical. They do this. They do that.
That's what
At
they
least they said that
want
early
to
on.
be.
You haven't heard that recently, have you?
Yeah, good. Because I think the last couple of weeks have kind of changed the narrative a little bit. Because Ohio State struggled.
Yeah.
They're not the run and gun team that they escaped last week, and 2 weeks ago they shouldn't have won
against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well,
I actually have the last 5 game stats right here.
their Northwestern game is
On the ground.
hideous.
Well, and let's think about the weapons of last year's team that we had to stop as a Michigan defense.
Olave,
Garrett Wilson, Chris
Wilson.
Olave,
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba,
Like
like
chance all 3 of them are out.
all 3 of them are out. Now Jackson might play this game. I don't know if are they saying he's going to be out? Like I haven't heard the
They
injury
haven't-
report.
I'm sure it's gonna be pretty quiet. I mean, neither
They're not going to
they're
give
not
anything
going to
away.
tell. Yeah, they're not going to tell us anything about that. I think the interesting part about Jackson Smith and Jigba is the fact that he tried to come back a couple times
Yeah, and it
and it hasn't gone. Well.
hasn't stuck. And so I guess what I think right now is Michigan's cornerbacks are elite. They really are. Michigan's
They are. No, I agree
Michigan's
with that.
secondary in general is, in my opinion, and if I'm looking around the league, Georgia might be the only other one that could compete with this secondary. And I only say that because they have the best cornerback in football, in college football. But as a unit, I don't see a secondary better than Michigan's. And so I think the key to Michigan's game is really stopping the run. And so the big bodies on the line, and I think they're actually geared up for this, and maybe I'm jumping way too far ahead. So just let me know if you
No,
want
you're
to
good.
break this down a different way. But like Mike Morris and some of these big bodies
If
on
he can get
their
healthy.
defensive ends, he needs to be healthy. He does. But our defensive line is not about speed this year. It's about power. It's about position. It's about using your hands properly and the scheme, I guess you could say, or just out physical manning the other guy. So they are set up to play up against the run and to stop the run.
What was it last week? I think they went in with the number 1 rush defense,
And
number
Illinois,
1 pass
Illinois
defense.
tore them apart.
Yeah, they did. Well, but that also might be the nuts and bolts best running back in the Big Ten in a lot of ways.
I
At
think-
least when you get to the next level, like when you're starting to say, all right, who will have a better NFL career?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Physically, he's probably it.
Yeah. Michigan's defense
Henderson's
through 11 games, opponents are averaging just 161.7 passing yards, which is fourth in college football, 5.3 yards per attempt, which is second in college football, with a 53.6 completion rate, which is sixth, and a 99.5 average quarterback rating, which is the second best in college football. And that's not even getting into how good their rush defense is. Their rush defense is really darn good as well. It looks like you're going to say something. Or do you just like when I say that kind of stuff?
I love when he says
You're
stuff.
you're all right over there?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
I feel like
I'm
this
good.
table might be getting a little uneven talking about the positives.
I just want to blow through Thanksgiving and just
I
get
know.
to Saturday. I love my family. I
Hey,
love
you
food.
do you, man.
I
I got to
just-
get that edge up. I just want to blow.
Yeah, I just want to blow through Thanksgiving. It's all I want to do, says Micah.
No, do I think Michigan's going to go out and win this game? Yeah, I do. And I'm a Michigan fan. And I'm sure that's probably unpopular for people that will just be, oh, well, of course a Michigan fan's going to think so. But I think this, just like last year, the matchup makes sense for Michigan. The spread makes no sense to me, -7.5. Now, look, could Michigan go out and lose by 15 points? Yeah, that could very well happen. But I could also see them winning by 15, 20 points. Like, I don't know what to expect in this game.
I don't either.
I could see a tight game. I could
What
see
a
a
wild
blowout
card
one
game.
way or another. Like, I think we're going to learn a lot about both of these teams on Saturday. What I hope we learn, well, I hope that Michigan just wipes the floor of them. But what I really hope we learn is that we see that the Big Ten is actually good. And we're seeing that these two teams are elite. Because I think those questions are in there. It's like, ooh, are they just the best of the worst right now because of how bad the Big Ten is? Or are these teams actually really, really good football teams? And I want to see a good, hard-fought battle with two teams that still have a shot to make the playoffs. That's what I want to see personally.
You know, if we're within one score at the end of regulation here, okay, do the right thing, committee. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, put them both in because you know they deserve to be in. Because
Yeah.
you know they're two of the best four teams.
There's no chance both of them get in. And this is my own thought process. There's no chance
Really?
in my mind that both of them get in unless TCU loses. If TCU loses, I could see them. I could see it happening.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're going to talk college football at the
Yeah,
end,
we
at the
should
end.
stick to the game,
Yeah.
right?
So we were talking about Michigan's Ohio State's run defense. So early on, they were good-ish, if you will. But Ohio State ranks 82nd in opponents' run play rate. So only 53.8% of the time the offense runs the ball against Ohio State's defense. The defense does have the third lowest yards per carry at 3.1 allowed, but you go to their last 5 games, you had Iowa Hawkeyes 35 carries for 77 yards, 2.2 yards per carry. Penn State 33 carries for 111 yards. Northwestern 59 carries for 206 yards. Hoosiers 40 carries for 150 yards, and then Maryland 31 carries for 84 yards. You can run on this team. You can. It's possible. Average teams have done it. Michigan should be able to do it if Corum is healthy. That is such a big thing for me because I witnessed firsthand what Gash and Dunlop and who else is in there. Like, who else are the running backs?
CJ
Stokes. Like, I don't trust those guys to do what we need to happen in this game.
It's a different talent level.
It is. And it was very noticeable because our offensive line was still the same. And-
Stokes had good work.
Stokes can hit a hole and like accelerate through the line and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but he's
Look-
not going to make the play on his own.
We're watching currently what's thought to be a Heisman finalist, and then probably a Heisman finalist next year.
Edwards.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I mean,
There's a really
There-
good chance. If the
yeah,
offensive line
like-
can stay,
like no-
keep reloading.
no doubt there's a very big gap in talent level, but I mean Stokes is a good running back.
Yeah, the colder the weather gets, the worse Stroud gets.
Their
And here-
defense is questionable in
and
the
their
cold.
What's that? Their
They're-
defense as well? Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I did want to talk about, so Stroud, everybody's talking about the year he's having, and he puts up incredible numbers, and there's no doubt about that. But the first 6 games, he had a 207 quarterback rating, 70.6 completion rating, 289 passing yards per game, and 10.86 yards per attempt. Weeks 8 through 12, 156 yards, 61% completion, 250 yards per game, and an 8.53 yards per attempt. Those are those are extremely different numbers than what you're used to. Or that, like, I guess splits, I should say. Is that right? That's a good way to say it. Splits? That sounds
Sure.
like a baseball term. That's a baseball term, right? Splits?
There's a difference. Is that what you're saying?
Like the splits between the first 6
Yeah.
games and,
Yeah.
and week 8 through 12. Look, you're gonna have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Igbuka. Is that how you say it? They've put up some good numbers. Harrison Jr. over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Emike Igbuka will probably hit 1,000 yards this year. He's got 914 with 8 touchdowns. Without Smith and Jigba, I think that's a really big deal. He can make them so much deeper at that position. I think, like you, Ryan, you already brought up our corners and how elite they actually are. Yeah, they are. But if you add one more piece, a true NFL talent, next to Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to be a NFL guy, I'm sure Igbuka will eventually be an NFL talent. Like, that makes a big difference. I'm curious of what his health is going to be. I'm curious if he's just going to come out and be a, what do you call it?
A decoy?
A decoy, or if they've just been saving him. I don't know. That's as big of a question mark, if not a bigger question mark than Corum's health, I think, heading into this game. And it could be a pretty big difference maker.
Well, it's not a bigger difference maker than Corum, in my opinion. Just because Corum has established himself as a Heisman finalist this year. So the team has relied on him this year, all year long, to repeat what we did last year, but not only that, but improve on it. And so there's a reason why he's had the impact he has. And so is Michigan able to play the same style offense and the same, utilize the same game plan without Corum or without Edwards? That's yet to be seen. Ohio State has played without Jackson Smith and Jigba from the beginning of the year.
They've had goods and bads. I would say
Yeah.
without them.
But they know they have an identity without him. You don't have that question mark of who are you going to turn to now. No, they all have their roles, right? So I think that's the bigger difference. As far as impact goes, I agree with you. Jackson Smith and Jigba is massive for this team. And if you add him to Marvin Harrison, which we know the kind of talent that he has, and then Igbuka or whatever his name is, this becomes way more of a dynamic offense that you have to worry about, and then that could set up your run game. I think without Jackson Smith and Jigba, you can focus on stopping the run game, and then your corners and just the talent alone in your secondary can take care of Harrison and the rest of that wide receiver corps.
Do you think Ohio State is going to try to run the ball? Because they've almost decided not to in a lotch of ways, when they probably should early on in this year, during
absolutely.
the season.
I think it's the key to the game.
That is the key to the game, and they probably know it because
Yeah.
they're good, well coached. They know what they need to do.
Yeah, I think Henderson is the key, is the X factor. Well, and what's his name from last week who stepped up for them?
Yeah, I'm not sure
For Ohio State.
because they were missing their top 2 running backs last year, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
last week.
and Henderson tried to come back in last week, and he couldn't do it. So his health is still up in the air, but I think Ohio State has, Stokes is okay, but Ohio State's third stringer is way better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's where some of that depth can come in and be a factor in this. Michigan, they can maybe, I don't know, JJ can maybe, I think he can lead an offense. I think
do
he can
too.
be dynamic enough. I think he can run the ball. He can make the big plays when it's needed the most. But it's way more of a question mark than what Ohio State is dealing with right now with their injury concerns.
Yep. So Kyle jumps in and
Mayan
says,
Williams.
if Corum is 100%, Michigan by 9. I don't disagree with that. So I do want to put you guys on the spot here and give us your prediction of what we're going to be talking about this time next week on about this game. Cool. All right.
Were you talking? Cool.
What do you think the story?
Dylan Hayden? Dallas Hayden.
Dallin Hayden.
Dude,
Dallin?
whatever his name is, Dallin Hayden, he had a game, and he looked like a stud running back last week. I think he's a true freshman.
Definitely.
All right. What are we talking about this time next week? What happened in this game? I want your prediction and why. Micah, you start.
Oh man, that's come up on the spot. Okay. We're going to be talking about Gosh, we're in the shoe, home cooking. Nope. We're going to be talking about how Michigan overcame adversity and bad calls.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Michigan wins. What was the score?
Oh.
It's a prediction. Ask for your prediction.
31-27.
31-27. I love that. That'd make me very happy. Ryan, what do you think's gonna happen?
I think Michigan. I think J.J. McCarthy breaks out, throws for at least 3 touchdowns,
Oh, whoa!
and I think Blake Corum is a little bit of a decoy. He only has 65 rushing yards. Only 65, so it's not terrible, but it's not dominating the game with 150. I think C.J. Stroud, all the questions about him and what he does in bad weather are still there and magnified at this point because he's going to be sloppy. He's going to have a strip fumble that's going to be costly to the team. And I see Michigan winning this game 38-21.
I like his prediction better, personally.
I just
Just throwing it
I
out
just
there.
wanted some certain things in there, right?
No, I think Corum is going to be good. I do. I think he's going to have a good game. I think they're going to prove that he is legit. I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to have basically a Haskins game without 5 touchdowns, but he's going to dominate on the ground. I think that's the way they're going to do it. I really do. I think JJ's going to have a good game. I could see him getting a touchdown or 2. I think he's going to come up with the key throws. I think he's going to run a lot. I think he's going to move around.
I do too.
I think he's going to look a lot better running the ball than what he has. I could see Corum going for 130. I could see him going for another 60. And they just dominate time of possession. I think time of possession is going to be the key to this game, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot like last year. I really do. I think we might be able to shut this offense down a little better than we did last year. Now, I forget what the final score was. What was it, 41? I think I had that earlier.
42-27.
42-27. I'm not sure Michigan scores 42, and I'm not sure Ohio State scores 27. I'm going to go with 35-21. Is that what you said? No, you said 38-21. I'm going to go 35-21.
All right.
Man, let's just not even play the game. Let's just use our predictions and just
What if it's like 28? What if the game? Let's go this route. What if you have more of like a 21-18 or 24-21 type of game? Who does that benefit? Is that a Michigan type of game or is that an Ohio State type of game?
I honestly I'm not sure how you keep them from scoring 21 points. I feel you know what I mean? Like if a team's going to score only 21 and that's like they win with 21 points, I think that's Ohio State. I just don't know how you when you look at the possessions and all of that like I don't see
I
how
don't
it
understand
works.
what you're saying. So
I thought your question was if it's a low scoring game,
yeah.
21-18.
Yeah.
If it's that score, I think Ohio State wins.
Oh, because Ohio State's guaranteed to not lay a dud.
That's kind of what I look at. And last year they scored 27 points. I would consider that a dud that they put up. I really do. I think they got garbage points and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think if a team is if the winning team's gonna have 21 points, it's going to be Ohio State.
The scary part of the game is that if this turns into like one of those games where, one play could change everything, that in my mind benefits Ohio State way more than it does Michigan.
Which a 21-18 scored is that?
Yes,
right?
because of their one play ability.
Yeah.
So Michigan needs to be positioned in the game at least one large score above them, so 1 touchdown or more.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can keep that buffer throughout the game, then they can start separating when it matters most.
Yeah.
They can put that pressure where Ohio State has to make a 4th down play call when they don't want to, or make C.J. Stroud, get uncomfortable in the pocket and do something dumb.
Yep.
Get desperate. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the kind of game that Michigan needs to have in this. And if it's reversed, if Michigan is chasing,
That's where it can be
I just don't see how Michigan is I don't know. you never want to be down, but I feel like Ohio State can respond in those situations easier than Michigan can.
I agree with that completely. But they were down last year. You got to remember that. There was a point that it looked like, all right, this game's going to get out of hand. Not out of hand, but like Ohio State had that ability to
Pull away.
Yep. And it was a shutdown, and then Michigan did the exact opposite and took over that game. So I understand what you're saying. If you're playing that catch-up and playing from behind, that always can get a little more frustrating, and it's harder.
Yeah.
But they did do it last year. When I think Ohio State had the lead and the ball at one point, and then Michigan made the stop. Don't quote me on that.
Well, and Hutch came up huge in those third down plays last year. Like, this is when he broke out, because at this point last year, Hutchinson and
the other guy,
Ajabo
were really neck and neck, and Ajabo was leading in sacks for the majority of the season leading into this game, and Hutch came away with 3. Ajabo, I think, had at least one.
I think he had one. Oh, definitely one.
He definitely won.
The last one was
and
awesome.
then Hutch dominated the Big Ten championship game and had more. And at that point, he separated himself as, obviously he was the best player, but he separated himself as the biggest impact player as well.
Yeah.
And so we need some sort of breakout performance. It could be number 18 edge rusher. It could be Mike Morris.
Yabioki.
Yeah. We've got some people to do
somebody.
it. We've got some people to do it.
You
got
to
need to
make
come
Stroud
up big.
uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's really important.
Yes.
But we will see. This time next week, we'll have something to talk about for sure.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
So do we have to talk about Michigan State because of that bumper?
Let's just move it quick.
I threw my next page away.
Oh, yeah. I think Spartan fans, if they're even still paying attention,
you said
probably would have
from
done the
somebody
same thing.
to Michigan State. So
Mel Tucker and MSU's good graces built over their 3-game winning streak vanished with an embarrassing loss to a then 3-win team, Indiana Hoosiers, 39-31. I think it's a 3-game winning streak. Was it a 3-game winning? I think it was a 3. It doesn't matter. After Indiana scored
they beat Illinois
on the opening drive, MSU scored 24 straight to end the second half and take a 24-7 lead into halftime on Senior Day. In the second half and overtime, MSU was outscored 32-7 the rest of the way. MSU took a 31-14 lead with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. On the kickoff, they allowed an 88-yard return for a touchdown to make it 31-21. Next offensive play was a Thorne interception, which led to an Indiana field goal and made it a one-score game for Indiana to tie the game later. MSU ended a 14-play, 70-yard drive that took the last 5 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock with a missed 22-yard field goal. Had a 28-yard field goal blocked in overtime.
Awful.
That in hindsight would have won them the game in the first overtime, only to lose 39-31 in the second overtime. You look at some of these stats. It's absolutely mind-blowing that this became a loss. Michigan State outgained Indiana 540 to 288. Passing yards 298 to 31. Rushing yards 257 to 242 for Indiana. But first downs, Michigan State had 29 to Indiana's 11. Third down conversions, 9 of 18 for Michigan State, 3 of 12 for Indiana, 1 for 4 on fourth downs for Michigan State to 1 for 1. Total plays, 90 to 51. Penalties were more for Indiana. The turnovers were huge. Time of possession, 36 minutes to 23 minutes. It is absolutely insane that this game is a loss. If I put these stats on a field, just on like a little billboard, people are like, oh, man,
Someone dominated.
That team, whew, that was a blowout. And this is what happened, and it's just absolutely incredible. Thorne, 27-42, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jalen Berger, 21 carries for 119 yards. Elijah Collins, 19 carries for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 8 receptions for 107 yards and a touchdown.
So this team cracked under pressure.
He had 2 touchdowns?
No.
Oh,
No,
2.
I just said the number 2, and that's the number of completions that Indiana had.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, this team cracked under pressure in the wrong moments. Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing else to say. Like, one, you have a dog crap football coach. Those are his words.
Yeah. Well, that
Not my words.
he said that after I forget which game it was. But that's a fun. I love that drop.
That you can't get past this. What'd you say? 3-win team?
Yeah, I mean, in losing this game in this moment, the way that they did is just it.
It's embarrassing.
It's the
what
exact
you said.
opposite of what they've done the last couple games. Ever since the Michigan game, they nobody thought that they would respond, and they did. And it was impressive, and it was like, wow, this team's showing up. And you know what? They showed up again. This game reminds me of who was their coach before Mel Tucker was the
D'Antonio.
Mike?
or sorry before
Mark?
D'Antonio.
Oh yeah.
He had that. It was like a halftime speech with one of the girl like announcers. I can't think of his name right now, but he's like, the kids are playing their asses off and the coaches are screwing it up. That's what I think this game was right here, because the teams played. The coaches really screwed this up.
Shoot, what's his name? Man?
I can't think of his name.
John
right
L.
now.
Smith?
Yeah, John L.
John L.
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah,
Look at you,
Man.
State fan.
look at you.
Oh my stop.
You got green underwear
At
on.
least you didn't say I'm an Ohio State
Actually,
guy.
I do. I opted for green over red.
So it wasn't a 3-game winning streak. It was 3 of the last 4 heading into the game. They had Wisconsin, Illinois, and Rutgers, those wins. Michigan, the loss was in there. But the Illinois-Rutgers game that they had between there, it looked like they set themselves up to be like, all right, this was a terrible year, but here we are. We did it. We still are going to recover. We wrote the ship, if you will. We're good to go. We're going to get to a bowl game. We deserved it. And here they are. Losing this game was just like all of that erased. You're right back to questioning every single thing about this program right now because of this embarrassing loss. And that's exactly what it is. You have no business losing this game.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
It makes me wonder what's going on in the locker room with the players. Like, who's stepping up to be a leader in the locker room and holding guys accountable and like riding the ship before anything else happens. Every single team goes through stuff in a game where it's something outside of your control is going on, and then there needs to be some response to it. And like, where's the response to this? How can you let the game again? Dexter Williams, quarterback for Indiana, had 31 passing yards.
2 of
31.
7.
He was 2 of 7. They attempted 7 passes.
And you lost.
2 completions the whole game. 2 completions for 31 yards, and you lost the game. And that takes a full team effort to lose.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, coaches, but also players not responding. It's players giving up. It's
Yeah.
players buying into, if one thing goes wrong, oh, here we go again, kind of an attitude.
Yeah.
I've been on losing teams. I was on losing teams in college. That happens.
Mhm.
That's a toxic thing where from top to bottom, that can overtake your entire team and just the attitude, the mood of the whole team. That's what's going on here.
They stopped
ugly.
chopping.
It's toxic.
They stopped chopping. It really is. I mean, and I want to know what Spartan fans think. I really do. I'm genuinely curious. But I honestly think they've already went
They're
through
checked out.
their basketball season.
Yeah, they're checked out.
They
I would
don't even
check
care.
out.
They have no idea that this game even happened. I think they were more worried about Michigan losing or like hoping Michigan lost than understanding what they were freaking playing for in this game. Because that's just the way Michigan State fans are.
You know what's funny? They're going to be tuning into this game more than they are their next game.
They cannot wait for Michigan to lose this game so they
Yeah.
can talk about that all day long. They don't even care about their own freaking program, which is a freaking disaster. You have Mel Tucker got an opportunity to open up the checkbook and bring in true talent to coach these teams.
Pit
This
bulls
team.
and rental
You have
cars.
a questionable offense coordinator, a questionable defense coordinator, and a special teams coordinator. Gosh, this guy better not see a freaking another paycheck. It's a disaster. And look, Mel Tucker is going to be. He needs to be the leader of it. Like, I don't care if he's a good coach or not. I really don't. He needs to be the one to make the tough decision that D'Antonio refused to do when things were going bad and be like, nope. I know we're friends, but I'm going to get rid of you because I need something better as a coordinator. Instead, he shuffled the deck and made it all work for his guys. Look, Mel Tucker, you got a massive paycheck. You deserved it from what you did last year. You have a stimulus, basically, that you can spend on true NFL high-end college coordinators, do it. Make the change. You have to fire these guys. I don't know who. I don't know which ones need to go. You better make a decision. Otherwise, you are freaking screwed. And I compare it so much to what Dan Campbell did last year. It was not going well. But what did he do? He said, hey, I'm the leader of this mother effer. Anthony Lynn, you're done. I'm taking control. Me and Ben Johnson are going to figure this out. He made that tough decision. He did it with the cornerbacks coach. Yeah, is what it is. But he's made these tough decisions. He's not afraid to make those changes. Mel Tucker better show that he's not afraid to make those changes. And he better show that he can make those changes. Because I'm curious about that, too. Who's pulling the string? Yeah, so that's my rant on Michigan State. I'd be absolutely embarrassed for this loss, personally. I don't know. What do you guys have to say about it?
I don't know. If that's what $100 million gets you, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
At all.
paying that?
Sorry.
It's donors.
2 donors.
Yeah.
2 donors.
Look.
That's where your money's going.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, I don't care what he's getting paid. I really don't. He can be getting paid $1 million, like
That's
$100
because you're a
million.
Michigan fan. If you're a Michigan State fan, you better care.
I would
right?
love for him to stay, honestly. If this is what we're going to see, yeah, I look at this to be more the consistent than what last year was, unless he's willing to make changes.
Right.
Because what this is not a building season off of what you did last year. This is an absolute embarrassment from what you did last year.
I'm telling you, I said it before, but if you keep Scotty Hazelton, you probably shouldn't walk Mel Tucker right out the door and buy him out.
I agree.
Sorry.
He needs to make that decision.
You can't keep your buddy.
Nope.
Your buddy sucks.
Yeah.
He's terrible at
Very, very
coaching,
bad.
and you know it. And I'm talking
Both
to you,
coordinators.
Sparty Nation.
Yeah, if they're even listening, this is like, wait, isn't it basketball season?
Your
Come on.
DC is horrid.
Basketball
Their
team looks
offensive coordinator
decent.
might be just as bad, though.
Not as bad.
He's looked bad at times.
I mean, I think
Oh, yeah.
this started, in my mind, I know they responded and all this, but they have dysfunction at all the way down to the player level. You don't break out into a brawl and a fight in a tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
In a game that you just lost, you need to be the bigger man. And so that clearly is not being sent down all the way to the players. And this kind of a game kind of demonstrates that in my mind, because when things start going wrong, then what are you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to man up? You're going to be a man and take a loss like a man? Or are you going to start hanging your head and feeling sorry for yourself? And that's what I saw. They're feeling sorry for themselves. There's no accountability on a personal level. Like, no, I am taking control of this situation, or losing like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't do it when they lost to Michigan in the tunnel. They didn't lose like a man there. And they're not losing like a man or responding like a man in these kind of situations when nothing's going right.
Yep.
They're just scared to make the next mistake.
I think they responded like
that
a
comes
man.
back from the coaches.
Heading into that, I think the Wisconsin game, they responded well. Like, heading into that game, I thought it was going to fall out completely. They didn't. They responded. They kind of got lucky to win that game.
Well, they might have
But then
responded
they
emotionally.
also responded in the Illinois, like heading into that Illinois matchup after the Michigan one.
That was big.
A good response. But you can't, that means nothing now. Absolutely nothing
That's what I mean.
because of this. Yeah.
But when your emotional response and there's no direct accountability, you can have your highs. Your highs are highs and your lows are lows.
Yeah.
And so what does that give you? It's just inconsistency. It's not anything that's repeatable.
Yep.
So it's just a different mindset, and I just don't see it from the team right now.
Yeah. So I mean, they're heading into the Ohio or the Penn State matchup as a plus 750 money line. They're an 18-point underdog, and this is to become bowl eligible. I don't think it'll happen. If they can respond and do it, then I'll change my tune and be like, hey, all right, maybe he does have it. Maybe he does have a hold of this team, and it was just a bad outing. But it doesn't look like it looks like the bad games are more in your face than the good at this point. And that's going to be interesting. And I think his back should be up against the wall. Mel Tucker not losing his job, but to make a decision. And that's what I want to see. For if he does, then I'll be like, all right, let's see what happens now. Who's your next guy that you're going to bring in and be better here? But yeah, basically that's it. We don't need to get into any more of that crap.
drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
So I did want to talk some college football as a whole. Like, look, Michigan looked bad. We know that. Michigan State looked bad. But it was a really, really interesting week. And it looked like the chaos started last week and could kind of continue here. So I did want to talk a little bit about that. So Georgia, they beat Kentucky, a 6-4 Kentucky team, 16-6.
Wild.
Great win.
Not
Great
exactly
win.
what you'd expect. Ohio State needed a field goal and a defensive touchdown late for the 13-point win against Maryland.
Yeah, it was not a 13-point game.
It was definitely not a 13-point game. Michigan won on the on 3 fourth-quarter field goals to win by 2 against Illinois. TCU beat Baylor on a 40-yard field goal as time expired. So before top 4 obviously didn't change. Then you got into the nighttime. Tennessee, who was in line to take over the 4th spot for whoever loses the Michigan-Ohio State game, lost to South Carolina 63-38,
Wow.
allowing Rattler to go 30 of 37 for 438 yards and 6 touchdowns, which eliminates Tennessee from contention. That's a huge letdown for them.
Huge.
That can't happen.
Bye-bye.
They, I kind of want to just say, like, I feel good that they've been pretenders this whole time, and I don't want to. I don't think they're as good as people thought, but
Yeah.
I didn't think they would do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought they would compete
Yeah.
a little bit more.
LSU played UAB, so the typical late season SEC bye. They played Georgia in the SEC championship game. If they lose that one, they'll be eliminated, which they're currently... They did move up to 6, is that correct? Or no, USC moved up to 6, right?
Correct.
So swap these.
LSU's 5.
LSU... Oh, sorry, yeah. LSU's
Moved up to
5.
5.
USC, who is now 6, they survived 48-45 against UCLA to stay in contention. They have Notre Dame this week. Will probably play Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. If they win those 2 games, they're the ones that will
Yeah.
be that one-loss team that gets in.
Yes.
Period. End of story.
I agree.
And I believe that they probably deserve it. I'm not going to argue,
I'm not either.
and I won't put Michigan ahead of them. If Michigan loses, I won't put Ohio State ahead of them. If Ohio State loses, I think that's the one that people need to keep an eye on, because then you start getting into Clemson. They play South Carolina to end the season. They'll play UNC in the ACC championship game. Obviously, we saw what South Carolina did to Tennessee. Could it happen again? We'll see. But you got to keep an eye on Clemson and USC here in these moments, because if you want 2 Big Ten teams to get in. I personally really want to see 2 Big Ten teams in. Not because I think Michigan's going to lose, but because I want people to start respecting the Big Ten the way that the SEC always seems to get respect.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I would love to see it. I really, really want to. And that's coming from someone. And look, I know I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, because I said last year 2 SEC teams shouldn't get in when we already know the difference. I hate when 2 SEC teams get in, but it's going to continue to happen. And that's why I'm just like,
all the time.
why can't it just be like, if it's going to happen, which it will happen every single year until this thing expands, there's going to be 2 teams from one conference in. I can almost guarantee it. I want the Big Ten to start getting that mantra, if you will. And the only way that they can do it is if they both get in and both win. You know what I mean? And that changes the whole thing of the stigma of the
Right.
Big Ten, which is having a very, very down year. I get that. It's not pretty.
It's not a good.
It's not a good conference at all, and I get that. But if you can have those 2 prove it, that would be awesome.
Well, we just speed up on each other. That's all we do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
that's what everyone else does.
They have lost to some.
Indiana just beat Michigan State. I mean, that's the bottom beating the middle. Big Ten fights, man.
bottom. Yeah, bottom
Yeah.
contenders.
Yeah, they really fight.
No, I think the Big Ten is so bad this year.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
It's
everybody
really
should
bad.
know that. I think the second best conference right now is the Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
I don't know what I was trying to do there.
What are you doing?
He
Like-
palmed it.
I tried to push it down.
and then you threw the foam on the floor.
I know. I'll clean it out later. Don't tell Andrea.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
She won't
That was really dumb. But no,
dumb
that's
all
what I
around.
want to see. That's what I really want to see. I want to see USC lose. I want to see Clemson lose another game. I want LSU to lose, And then I would love for this Final Four to be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. One way or another. I would love to see that.
I wouldn't mind actually having 2 Big Ten teams in there if TCU loses. Then let's bring on USC into the top 4, and
That's a great point.
and then see 2 Big Ten teams. I think that's the most likely scenario for the Big Ten getting 2
So
teams.
who
In fact,
will
I think it's the only scenario.
Who will TCU play? Do you happen to know that off the top
Iowa
of your head?
State.
They play Iowa State this week. I think they're a 10-point favorite, something like that. But then they'll play in their championship game, which I'm not sure who that would be. Let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm gonna try to get that.
Is it Texas?
What conference
or no?
is that?
Big 12,
Big
right?
12, yeah.
They're in the Big 12.
Yep.
All right, so they'll probably play Kansas State or Texas. Probably Kansas State. So I don't expect TCU to lose. I really don't. It's possible. If they play Texas, I would say it's possible. I don't see Kansas State trying beating them. I think TCU is basically Cincinnati all over again.
I expect TCU to lose. I don't know why. I just do. Yep.
I hope so.
Yep, I think they go
I
down.
hope all 3 of them lose. I hope TCU loses, LSU loses, USC loses, and Clemson loses.
In Georgia.
I don't want Georgia to lose
Oh, okay.
until the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Don't tell me what I want.
Tell me what I want, what I really, really
I would
want.
love for them to lose. And then
To who?
what, Georgia?
You want them to lose to LSU and then both of them get in?
No, I don't think he'll. Well, yeah, good point. Yeah.
They'll both get in.
Yeah.
If they do. They're
Yeah,
setting it
maybe.
up for it. But that was
Committee. I would love you.
good conversation.
I don't know.
Moving
Not
on.
sure.
Moving on.
Do it.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. This is State of My Sports.
Kyle just brought up when Micah ran through my neighborhood in his brewskis last year. Is that going to happen again when Michigan wins?
If it's close and we win wild, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not red underwear.
Am I never gonna see this?
No, you're gone.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in some sports bar somewhere finding a way to watch
I
it.
hope you are.
I will.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it. Yeah. 100%. What do you,
hey,
I'm
Ryan,
just-
how's your week last week?
Sometimes I wonder
I
if you do.
didn't get to watch the game.
Well, yeah. Oh, how'd it go? How'd the game go?
how'd it go, guys?
Michigan wins. BettingHero.com.
Good combo.
Promo code MIBETS. If you just listen to last episode if you want to know what it's about. But we're getting to our picks of the week.
Dang, Micah, crushing.
Getting there, baby.
Last week, Micah went 4-4. Ryan 5-3.
Thank
I
you.
went 5-3. John 1-7. Ouch.
See ya out of it.
Kyle 4-4. So Micah, you are leading the way at 51-37 overall. Ryan and I are tied at 47-41. John one game back at 46-42, and Kyle bringing up the rear, 43-45. He's the
Usually
only
does.
one under 500.
Who's this Kyle guy that keeps making picks?
Don't know. I've never heard of him. Is he on a podcast? He honestly, ever since he stopped showing up, he talks sports with me more through text than he ever did
Really?
on the podcast. So just take that for what it is.
So-
He's also more active in general, I think. Like, he's using more time on commenting than he
Yeah.
ever commented
Exactly.
with a microphone.
If his family doesn't like him enough to want him to be,
Oh, it's that Kyle.
Whoa.
yeah, like
Oh.
Kyle, if he's gonna message all of these times, like,
Man.
just be here. Right?
I
He's
love
obviously
that
not
guy.
spending time with his kids and his wife.
Yeah,
like, they
go
just-
spend some quality time with us, Kyle.
yeah, come over here. Come on over.
Let's just both
Come
commit to
on,
once a month,
baby.
Kyle.
Once a month. I like that.
Once a month.
At the hops.
Yeah.
Sorry,
do it.
Kyle. Didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but we did anyways. All right, starting with, I just figured let's do all the Thanksgiving games. You guys want to do that?
Sure.
Do
Great.
it.
So I wasn't going to change it. Starting in order, we got the Bills at the Lions. Lions plus 9.5. Kyle is taking the Lions. John is taking
Whoa.
the Bills. Micah, you're up.
Lions cover.
Ryan.
I'm going Lions, too.
Yeah, I think the Lions cover this game. I'm not sure they win it. I don't expect them to win it.
I kind of want to change.
I would love for them to win it. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys -8.
You get -8?
-8.
What?
That's what this says. Cowboys for Kyle. Cowboys for John. Micah, what are you going to do?
Ooh, I'm going to go bounce back game for the Giants. Mike McCarthy's going to do Mike McCarthy again.
Ryan?
I'm going Giants, too. That's a lot of points. This is a rivalry game. They're going to show up for it. I think Daniel Jones is better than people give credit.
I do
know.
too.
He can run.
That defense, man. Cowboys defense is legit.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think they're a good team, though.
This is where
It's
he goes,
really weird.
but I'm going to go Giants.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
Oh, you're going Dak? You hate
I
Dak.
hate Dak. I hate Ezekiel Elliott.
So,
Zeke's the third best running back.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the Cowboys, and then I'm going to bet on the Giants. Does that work for you?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
It's free
Doesn't
country
matter to me.
still, kind of.
The last game on Thanksgiving got the Patriots at the Vikings. Vikings a 3-point favorite. Kyle's going Vikings. John's going Patriots. Micah.
Oof. Give me the Vikings.
Ryan.
I'm going to go Patriots on this one.
Primetime. What's his name? The quarterback for the Vikings? Primetime Kirk Cousins is never good. Never good. I'm going Patriots. I don't have the stats. I wish I did.
I thought you were calling him prime time.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
what?
that's
I kind of hate all my picks so far.
do the opposite of Ryan.
Yeah.
Last game for the NFL, we got the Bengals at the Titans. Titans plus 1.5 at home against the Bengals. Kyle and John are both going Titans. Micah, what about you?
I'll take the Titans too. Just home field advantage.
Ryan?
Bengals all day.
Really? I'm going Titans. I love when the better team is getting points at home. It's almost easy money. Almost easy money. It won't be easy money.
No.
But
It's gonna be
Bengals
Bengals are going to
hair
pull
out.
one of those games where they score a 49 or something.
yeah, like 70 points. All right. College football, you got a 4 o'clock game. Iowa State at TCU. TCU, a 10-point favorite. Kyle's taking Iowa State. John is taking TCU. Micah, what are you doing?
Give me the Cyclones. Give me some Campbell.
It's Iowa State.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew it, but it didn't register correctly. Like, I was
It's all good. Matt Campbell.
TCU.
TCU.
Yep.
I'm going to go Iowa State to cover, probably not win. I would love for them to win, but I'm going to go Iowa State. Another big one, 7:30, Notre Dame at USC. USC -5. I hate that number. Hate that number. Ugh, that's a scary number. Micah, what are you doing?
Nighty night, Lincoln.
Yeah, Notre Dame?
Notre Dame's coming in, baby. They are coming for that just
Notre
wild
Dame-
upset.
It is insane how good they've been playing. Like, honestly, like, it's crazy.
Give me ND.
All right, Ryan?
USC scores too much. Notre Dame can't hang with that many points. I think USC outlasts them by a touchdown or 2, but it will be over 5.
I'm going
USC.
ND. Again, betting tells you do not mess with that 5. That 5 is such a disaster. Always. Don't do it. So
I think it's free money.
I'm going to
Easy money, guys.
stick to that.
Money tree.
I would.
It might
This
be-
is the only one I feel good about.
It might be hope
Really?
more than anything, but I'm taking Notre Dame. I think
It's
they're going to win, hopefully.
Your
Um,
fandom speaking.
I know, right? 4 o'clock, Michigan State at Penn State. Penn State -18. Kyle's taking Michigan State. John is taking Penn State. Mike is taking Penn State by 1 billion.
Boom.
Ryan,
It's
what are
a
you
number.
doing?
Yeah, I'm taking. Oh, man, I don't know. Who did Kyle take?
Michigan State.
Kyle's under 500. Give me Michigan State. Just use opposite logic there.
That's just a lot of points for a team that
You're
really isn't
going
that good
to Penn
offensively.
State. You're going to Penn State.
Penn State doesn't score. They're not good offensively.
They don't score, yeah.
They're not good enough offensively to score
Okay.
Yeah, but they're pretty good
35
defensively.
points. Yeah, but Michigan State can put up 20 points.
Penn State by 1 billion.
I'm going to go MSU. I am. I'm sorry.
I just need to make up.
I think I've gotten every single Michigan State game wrong this year. I'm pretty sure. I would love to go back and look at that. I should.
Have
I
you
really
really?
should. I think I might have, yeah. I should look. I honestly should look back at that.
if you did, do you know how impressive that is? Like,
yeah,
in
I
a,
couldn't do that.
a very strange
yeah.
way.
You directed all this.
I know.
You've caused their season.
I'm gonna pick them to win every game next year on the coin flip day. I'm gonna be like, Michigan State wins. All right, nooner, Michigan at Ohio State. The game. Michigan State is currently a 7.5-point favorite. It's so funny how this has changed. If you went back 3-4 weeks ago, it was, it's going to be around 13.5, 14-point spread. Here we are, 7.5. A lot of the money's on Michigan as well. Michigan for Kyle, he said money line. John's taking Michigan. Micah, you're taking Michigan, right?
Kyle went
Based on
money
your
line.
prediction? Yeah, he thinks Michigan wins this game.
Yeah,
You
give me Michigan to cover
No,
at least.
We're not allowed to take Ohio State today, right? We're not doing that. Right?
Hell no.
Ryan, you're taking Michigan?
Yeah, I am. Does it bother you that it's a noon game, or do you like it?
All right. I have. We got time to talk about this? Yeah. All right.
No, I actually do
I-
have something I got to do later.
I have just real quick.
Okay.
I have a lot of theories about this game. Should I cut the music for this?
Do it.
'Kay.
Cut it.
This game should not be at noon. This game should be able to flex to a night game and mess around with all that. Better yet, it is a disservice to the Big Ten to put this game, the last game of the season, every single year. It is terrible because if you had Michigan and Ohio State play week 3, both teams would have a chance to respond and win their way back in, like we're seeing LSU do, like we always see Bama do, like we always see Clemson do. This is a disservice to the Big Ten to put this game, make this an elimination game on your own. And you're doing it to yourself. Look, is it going to matter long term when this thing expands? No, it's not. But push comes to shove, this game needs to be able to change. I hate that it's a tradition of noon every year, the last weekend in November. I'm okay with moving on. I hate bowl games. I hate tradition. I know. People are going to hate me for it. Just move on from
tradition.
it. Well, I mean, like,
Well,
I don't hate
in this
tradition,
case-
but
in
in
this
this
case,
case,
yeah.
it's a stupid tradition that should be able to be flexed and moved around. And I hate that they put this little bow on it. Do people watch rivalry games other weeks in football?
Sure do.
Like
all the time.
like all the time, right? There's big rivalry games. So like Alabama, LSU. What
Yeah.
they play week 8?
Pretty sure it's big.
People really like that game, right?
Bama, Auburn.
People watch that game. It was a big deal. Yeah. Okay. Michigan, Ohio State would be a big deal if you play it week 1, week 3, week 12. I don't
Just
care.
like
Whenever
Michigan,
you
Michigan
play it,
State, just like Michigan, Notre Dame, just like
it's a stupid
all the
thing
other
that
ones.
people think matters. It doesn't matter when this game gets played. Move it up. Let these teams both respond and work their way back up to erase that loss, and then you start getting 2 teams in the playoffs without having chaos.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at. Micah, do you disagree?
Okay. Well, see, when you bring it up like that, no, I don't disagree with you, but I'm more on the bandwagon of I really want the time to be flexible. I think that's the dumbest thing. Throw the freaking noon start out. I'm done with
Yeah.
it. You know, like we threw our grass
Field out.
end zones
Yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
who cares? No one cares.
Yeah.
The old man that's 75 years old is still
Watching.
you know,
He doesn't care.
he's watching, but he cares. But no one else cares. Like
He survived,
no one gives
I
a
think.
damn. Like freaking
Could
let
be
the
gone.
let the time be what it's gonna be, man. Get it? Start that sucker at 7:30, and I don't care if it cuts into poor Pac-12 game time.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
Yep, I agree. But if you want the night game, which we all agree should be awesome, then I think you have to move the game up. I get why you do a noon game this time of year because of how freaking cold it can get, and that can be a complete disaster.
Yeah.
Move the game up and then move it to a night game. Early October, nice warm weather. Heck, switch the Michigan-Ohio State game. And with the weather we got then, come on, like that would be awesome. I would love to have a Michigan-Ohio State party instead of a Michigan State party. Outside in the garage and like have people over and stuff.
And
Yeah.
make sure that the first night game is in Ann Arbor
Yeah, be the one
because
to make that
Ohio
decision.
State sucks.
I hate Ohio State. I don't wanna
Not
go
a
to
good
that
reason.
toilet
Don't
bowl.
care.
It's a toilet bowl, not a horseshoe. It's a piece of toilet. You look at it from the sky, it's a toilet.
You could take a dump ski in it.
Yeah. I think we're about to.
Oh,
on
it's
Saturday.
happening.
We're about to freaking lay an egg on them. Let's go. All right, what do I do?
No.
Or,
No.
lay an
Wait,
egg on
on
them.
them. First he says he's an Ohio State guy,
All right.
and then we're about to lay an
No.
egg on him.
All right.
Red shorts and all.
Drinking craft beer,
Take
having
these things off.
fun, and talking sports in the state of
Please wait.
Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
Two Hearted from Bell's Brewery.
8.5.
7, 8.
Quick like
Come on now.
lightning, baby.
7-6.
What?
There we go.
Great description.
That was episode 182. Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for watching and listening and share us, like us, do all that good stuff. We'll talk to you next week after Michigan win, if not sooner.
Peace.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.